When you look at Crimson Desert for more than a moment, it's hard to consider this game as just another single-player experience. Armies collide across endless plains, physics-based combat unleash chaos in every direction, and the world feels designed for far more than one hero. Pearlabyss, the studio behind the game, calls it now a story-driven, open-world action-adventure, but the trailers reveal something else, a game showing the unmistakable DNA of an MMO now dressed in a single-player clothing. Their marketing strategy has avoided MMO and RPG to define Crimson Desert. Trailers have shown many aspects that are coming from both genres, which made me reflect about what this game really wants to be. This video will use Crimson Desert dual personality to try to answer a far broader question. What happens when MMO scale ambition gets channeled into a single player game? Pearlabyss built their reputation on Black Desert Online, or BDO, an MMORPG characterized by graphic fidelity and spectacular combats. Crimson Desert seems to carry that heritage in its core. Early trailers lean into it openly, positioning Crimson Desert as another MMO. But during development it became clear Crimson Desert has evolved to something different than an MMO. Now it's a story-driven action, one hero's journey through Pyrewell's continent to restore the Greymane clan. The MMO genre comes with a baggage: grind, FOMO, live service elements. In the past years, many games have failed to carry that baggage to deliver an exciting experience for players. Crimson Desert seems to chase the MMO depth and variety of gameplay activities without having to deal with many of the problems that affects MMOs. MMOs like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV are big. Not just big maps, but a world that works for crowds, with many activities and point of interest where interaction is incentivized. Crimson Desert has promised a huge world to explore entirely from the start, filled with cities, NPCs, and activities that seems too many to be true. Even in combat, it shows war, chaos, scenes that look like PvE raids or PvP battlegrounds in other games. Combat seems to split in two different scenarios: boss duels where precision and strategy seems predominant, and mob swarms testing your abilities with multiple foes. Bosses will require you to read their patterns and survive their combat dance. Swarms of enemies from every angle will test your combat skills and creativity thanks to a combat system that allows different approaches to an encounter. Our protagonist Cliff can even fight on top of certain mounts like a bear, a dragon, and even a mech suit. Surely there will also be boss encounter with swarms of enemies requiring you to combine all the mechanics together and demanding mastery of the combat system. Beyond fights, there are many other activities we can entertain ourselves with in Crimson Desert. Combat hooks you, but the world is waiting to be explored. Dungeons, side quests, puzzles, hunts, base management, skill progression, fishing, farming, and much more. A classic MMO feature: never let activities run dry. Always one more thing you can do. The question is, will it be fun? And will the activities tie to each other? All things considered, it's clear Crimson Desert is a single-player game with many elements of an MMO, a new approach to the big open-world RPG genre that might truly make the game exceptional. Now, another important question that we must ask ourselves is, can all these MMO elements actually support a Cliff story in restoring the Greyman clan. Single-player game like The Witcher 3 or Horizon focus the story carefully. Combat, then exploration, then character moments, all paced to keep you hooked on the main narrative. MMOs like World of Warcraft work differently. They are built for hundreds of hours with side activities always competing for your attention. Crimson Desert tries both approaches. Cliff has his personal journey through Pyrewell, but the world offers constant distractions. The risk in doing so is that the story gets buried under all the side activities. Main quests become just another icon next to catch 10 fish or defend the guards from enemies. But there is huge potential too. When the world feels this alive with large-scale battles and dynamic events, Cliff's quest suddenly can feel like part of something much bigger. The story of Pyrewell hopefully connects nicely to Cliff's main mission and side activities. It might work brilliantly if exploring the world would allow activities to progress and the other way around. If you love story-driven games like God of War or The Last of Us, you may want most activities to serve the narrative. Crimson Desert might frustrate you if side activities pull away Cliff from the main story, or if the main story is not as rich as other single-player experiences. However, if you do not mind a narrative that is not always delivered plainly like Dark Souls games or Zelda Breath of the Wild and its sequel, Crimson Desert might really hit the spot for you. If you like BDO or Final Fantasy XIV, this game might really hit for you without even asking for a monthly fee. Many MMOs activities and an interesting combat system, just solo. If you like the grind though, you might miss it due to the single player nature of Crimson Desert, even though there will be plenty of activities for players to engage with. Crimson Desert seems to be targeted to many different audiences, with the risk to not satisfy any of them fully. However, if the MMO elements complement well with the single player elements, Crimson Desert might be a GOTY candidate. Crimson Desert will show us Cliff's epic journey to restore the Greyman clan. Pearlabyss builds something ambitious that might redefine open-world games or collapse under the weight of its ambitions. Would you prefer a story-focused game like Witcher 3, MMO depth without servers issue or dealing with other players, or the perfect balance between the two? Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you listened this far, consider subscribing for the coming content. I personally cannot wait to try Crimson Desert, and I'm keeping an optimistic view on what it wants to achieve.